Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Y'all ready? Let's get it, man. Here to talk Houston Dynamo. Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rory Segura. I hope that you've had a good start to the week. And I don't know what my phone is playing. I was trying to retweet this stream, Christian. It's throwing me off because I keep hearing myself in the background delayed as the intro's coming. But as I said it, I am not alone. I am joined by Christian Potalias, brother. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing all right. It's been a minute. It's been a week.
It's been a week. Yes, we're doing good, man. One defeat, one victory. I think, tough defeat away, but great win at home. So at least, it kind of balances it out.
Balances it out. Yeah, and you look at the table, and Houston's it's well to be high in the standings, and you take on, like you said, the number one team in the MLS, right? And the best. that means a lot, and we'll definitely deep dive on that game. However, we can't jump too far ahead in the sense of, even though it's an ugly loss, terrible loss in youth, we have to talk about it. And Christian, I'm going to play and I'm going to lower the volume because I don't want YouTube to kick us out for that game that was, at the end of the day, meaningless after a 3-0 defeat, as you mentioned. A game where the Dynamo played a very good first half, and then the second half just went to poop. But
this was the second half.
Yeah, Donald Duck.
He's so mad.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But I'll play the highlights, and let me see. Give me a second. Did it play? Of course it did. Oh, there it is. It keeps disappearing on me. Just looking at the lineup itself. Let me go back just a tad. So people, if they're watching us live here, which I hope you are, by the way. So Bayou Banter, get in here. Jay Hurtado, Rushan. I know we'll have Jeff stop along, and everybody else that tends to interact with us, and we'll get as many people to join us, and a lot of good topics to talk about here for sure. But we start with the bad stuff, as you mentioned. One loss, one win. We'll start with the loss. A lot of rotation in this midweek game. A lot of guys that need minutes. They obviously hadn't really played together. The interesting point here, Christian, was we get the lineup, right? We try to reproduce the lineup on our social medias as well. We see that Hector Herrera is the captain, just to see Jack McGlynn wearing the armband. And that kind of threw everything up, because we're like, hey, well, what happened? We saw the graphic. You can see the graphic here with Hector Herrera as a captain. And post-game, I think, Jack was asked about it, and he just said it was an honor. But there wasn't really a clarification, like, hey, was there a discrepancy on the graphic? Like, how come, Hector or Eric, who's wore the armband in the past, didn't get it? But we get clarification before the Vancouver game by Ben saying, hey, I gave the armband to Hector Herrera, and he gave it to Jack McGlynn. I'll leave it at that. I want to get your thoughts on what that means to you, maybe, and maybe what it means. I don't know if you got to listen to the entire answer that Ben gave, and I can kind of maybe add more to it as I remember. But I'll go ahead and play the awful highlights here. But you can keep talking about the captaincy and the armband.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great move from a veteran national team player like Hector Herrera, knowing that Jack McGlynn is on the board. It's on the border of possibly becoming a national team player who could play in the World Cup, and not only like is any World Cup, but it's the World Cup here at home soil where your family could be there, and just what it means to a young guy like Jack McGlynn, who's barely starting his career in a sense. And it's just like we say in Spanish, un voto de confidencia. Like, it's a confidence booster for him to be like, hey, we got your back. We really want this for you as a team, as a club, as as co-workers in a sense. and just kind of show us what you got, and I think it's a beautiful move from a guy from Hector that he has played literally worldwide, multiple World Cups, and he has all that experience behind him to kind of look at the next generation and be like, even though it's a United States player, I still want the best for him. I mean, he's the only player in the whole Dynamo squad, if I'm not mistaken, that has a chance to play in the World Cup. So why not give them a little push and be like, okay, this is your team now, manage it so you can kind of prove to Pochettino and in that coaching staff from the national team that you have what it takes to be a leader in this club and potentially be a leader in the national team if that opportunity ever came by. And I mean, you can kind of see it. I mean, you saw a beautiful game, the previous one against LAFC, and then against this one, the first half was
that first half. I mean, the Dynamo were full throttle trying to get goals. They had like three or no, probably like four good chances. Obviously, as we played the highlights, you saw two long distance shots. You saw Linger get one or two as well on frame, and then Marcanic was right in front of goal, and it hits the post. So you don't even count it as a shot, I guess. But it's one of those that they were very dangerous. The goals never came, and then the second half there was. Again, you're trying to manage minutes, knowing that there's so many games, and you are gonna depend specifically on the elimination match coming up that we'll talk about. But that really dictates, and then obviously the Vancouver game because it was gonna be your last game at home. But I won't play the rest of the highlights again. It goes to the point of the team just gets hammered by the transition game. I think that Ben Olsen and I think it was Jag that spoke about post match, and they mentioned how they just weren't organized enough. Like most of the goals came from goal kicks. So in the sense of like no one touched the ball other than the goalkeeper and the other players, and that was it. So they were just quick in transition. They were able to punish them, and that's what happens. And we know MLS is MLS, right? Anybody can beat anybody. Utah's actually doing decent. Obviously, they've been in top of the table above the Dynamo for a while as well this season. And we talked about last week about this is a rivalry game. I think Mastroeni and Ben Olsen have been playing either checkers or chess here, but they just keep trying to one up each other. And it goes as far as the playoff games, and even before that there's just so many games in particular that they kept going back and forth. I think at one point in one calendar year I think they played like 10 games, which is it doesn't happen. Christian,
the one comment I have about this game, I know that Ben Olsen was trying to, like you said, manage minutes, manage players, the fatigue and everything that comes with it. But I didn't like at least the two first substitutions coming in at halftime. Taking out Jack McGlynn, I think it was a bad idea. And then taking out Resch also, in my opinion, was a bad idea. You took out the best defender, the guy that was playing probably the best. And I understand that, you have to rest them, and, maybe Antonio Carlos needed to play some minutes to kind of get in a rhythm. But I think those two off the bat, I mean, the goal came kind of right after, even though it was from like a dead ball or something like that.
It's unfortunate because it was an own goal, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it was from like a set piece.
Yeah.
It's an odd goal that gets it started, and then as soon as Goso, starts the build up, he gets his brace as well, and basically the same transition quick play, and you get punished. That's all it took, man. It's all.
And by the 60th minute, I mean, I think it was kind of done. So 3-0. Yes. I think I turned off the TV like at the 75th. I was like, bro, I gotta go to sleep.
It's definitely a late game.
Yeah, and the Dynamo, I mean, it's crazy how like it is literally a tale of two halves, because if you would have looked at the first half, you would have said the Dynamo are gonna win this game. Or at least a chance to like compete and be in it, right, as they were playing. But like I said, I think those two substitutions, Jack McGlynn has become such a great factor for this Dynamo, obviously in this push to get to the World Cup, into the World Cup's roster, that he has like elevated his game tremendously,
right.
and taking him out did hurt the team because he does bring some type of freshness. The pace that he slows down the game, and he has a different vision too. And then he has that hit from outside the box that nobody else has. Matthew Bogusz doesn't have it. Guillermo doesn't really take shots from outside, and Jack McGlynn just has a tremendous left foot, and that's what kind of hurt him too on that one.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
yeah.
And you talk Guillermo, he did take one off the outside of the 18, which you mentioned is rare to see him fling those, but that takes us into the Vancouver Whitecaps game. Obviously, this was a build-up game. The hype around, the very best team in MLS, with star players like Thomas Mueller, who we know what he represents. I know you're a big fan of him and the German team back in 2014, Christian.
Yeah.
But, him obviously not with the national team anymore, but other guys trying to get in, right, with their own national teams and Americans themselves. Obviously, you got Sebastian Berhalter, you have Brian White, all those guys that are playing very well. Berhalter is likely going to be obviously with the World Cup squad. I think Brian White, a guy can't catch a break. I think he's one of those guys that they need to put some respect on his name, man. I think he does so much good stuff for Whitecaps, and
he's been consistent. Yeah, a couple of years now.
Yes, and they did take him. I remember they took him to the last Gold Cup. Actually, yes, I want to say they did, and he never played. So it's players like that. I mean, you do need to give them some opportunity, especially when you're lacking in front of goal, like the U.S. national team has been lately with the players that play in Europe and so forth. But that's neither here or there. We'll definitely get more into talk, as soon as the World Cup gets closer and we don't have MLS to talk about. But I'll play the highlights here for the Vancouver match. Again, it was a team that Vancouver got here, I think, a day or two early, trying to get acclimated to the humidity. And my friend,
it's humid, bro.
I was telling you that I've been doing some yard work around, and it just hasn't. The weather definitely kicked my butt. We'll play the thing, and I see your question, Emilio, and we'll hit on that as well. Christian, the lineup just for Vancouver. I mean, you see, those guys right there. Blackman was defender of the year last year. Laborda's playing as a defender of the year this season. You have one of the best midfielders in Berhalter, who, the guy's scoring a lot of goals for how deep he plays. We already talked about Thomas Mueller and, of course, Brian White. Yeah. Their goalkeeper is top class, and he does make a bad mistake here that I don't necessarily think is what gives the Dynamo the win. Well, maybe, because you can blame the goalkeeper. Could have done more on that play, but I think overall it was it looked like a good atmosphere. Before people ask if I was there at the game or not, I do have something to mention, Christian. I was not at the game. This is May. The month of May is whenever everything's happening, right? Whether it be graduations, recitals, Mother's Day, all kinds of stuff kind of grouped together. And I told you guys on our chat, I was like, oh, man, I'm not gonna be there. Like, my kid has a piano recital, and he did great. He just turned 7 about a month ago, and this is the thing. It was so his where he goes to, and I'm gonna finish because I think this is hilarious. Because now that you say it, it makes it even more funny. So we go and they have different dates. I think it started on Friday. And it ended on Sunday. They were separated into little clusters. Yeah. And so he had a Saturday at a certain time. We go there. There's I think a total of maybe 15 people, Christian. So my kid, we dressed him sharp, bro. He looked like he just went to a wedding.
He looked nice.
He looked good. We overdressed him, right? And this kid got to play Peaches by Jack Black. So he went in and the thing is, it's not because when we told the teachers, man, that's a little too complex for him. He just started playing the piano 3 months ago. So he literally, bro, he had to hit 3 keys and he was the guy doing the dum, dum. And he did a good job. Like the teacher, like he did a duet, did everything else. But as you say that, I was laughing and I was telling my wife this. I'm like, man, I don't know this. Now I feel like, am I doing like my job as a dad? Because my kid is over here playing peaches, and then there's like a family of 3 kids. All of them were playing either Beethoven or Chopin, and I was like, what is happening here? Granted, they were older. They were probably early teenage years.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, like this kid's over here playing full symphonies. Yeah, whatever. And like, I was like, dang, my kid over here playing peaches, man. I mean, at least he didn't play
start somewhere.
Twinkle Twinkle. What is it?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Star. Yeah, but it's still it was fun. But I didn't get home in time till basically, and I guess we'll play the highlights. I don't know if that's here, but I got home like in minute around 20, which is when everybody got the notification of the Samassékou going down, but even then Houston almost got scored on here.
Yeah, 10 seconds in.
Yeah, 10 seconds in,
hits the post,
right?
Yeah.
Which it looked like Bond touched it, but I don't think they gave it to him.
No,
but,
and I think he was like a couple inches off.
Yeah, and Vancouver had the ball. There's the goal that comes offside by Brian White, which to me, after seeing it a few times, he looked onside, man. I think I don't know. I think
you just have to go like this.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you do that, if you do the vertical line like the Venezuelan league that one time, then that's it.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So the highlights didn't show it, but to answer Emilio's question, yeah. So around it was the 20th minute. There was a free kick for Vancouver. Well, not a free kick, a corner for Vancouver, and in the run of play in that set piece, you see Chache jump for the ball, and Blackmon runs straight into him. Basically, looked like even if he what's it called? If he elbowed him or just the backlash of like getting hit from behind, took out Samassékou. He falls to the ground, basically like non-responsive. He really wasn't moving much, and everybody went out there. The medical team, went fast to go help him. The big issue that a lot of people saw, and I mean, we got to see it obviously in TV if you were watching it, was the fact that it took about 14 minutes for the ambulance to come in and take him. So it obviously put into perspective of the player safety, and I know a lot of people were talking about that and social media about the response time. It seemed like there was other issues that I don't have full details on, but I would just say kind of like there's more to the story of why it took longer than it should have. But it seems that he's fine. I mean, after the game, he was Ben started the presser by giving an update on Chache. It seemed like they were going to follow concussion protocols, but he was doing okay and he was able to go home. And then this morning in the preview to the St. Louis game, somebody asked also about him, and he wasn't training. He's back with the team, but he will be just being monitored. I don't know how it works. I mean, I know for instance, the NFL, where that's very common, usually it's about a week and then it restarts if they have some kind of lapse. So I gonna say that we won't see him against St. Louis or LA Galaxy. I mean, it'd be dumb. Might as well monitor it. But one thing that I told you guys that I noticed, because I had the opportunity to kind of, there was such a long period of him getting, help, that I got home to kind of go back and watch a lot of the game. And I noticed that he was very sluggish. I don't know if that had to do something with it, like in the sense of, maybe, I mean, the weather was a nasty weather. I mean, the humidity was like at 95. And obviously it was a hot day overall. So he just seemed like he was struggling. I kept seeing him like trying to catch his breath a lot, and it wasn't like he was being asked to do a lot. Like he didn't really have a lot of duels that he was involved in. He was just in a, good and back and forward in that sense. But he just looked gassed, and again, it was minute 20 that he was already kind of struggling. So I don't know if maybe like he was involved in this, and obviously the collision. Maybe he was like, hey, maybe I'm more tired than it looks, because at post game, everybody seemed like, oh yeah, he's fine. He's doing good. Like there wasn't really like a big like alert going on that is like, oh, we
Mhm.
need to be. Like, it just seemed like during
Yeah.
the action, during that break, Christian, of 14 minutes of trying to get him off the pitch. But even then, it wasn't like rushed either. Maybe the
Yeah.
players did, because you saw them kind of bring in the which is I think that's crazy. Yeah, it's rare that you see that too, Christian.
Yeah, yeah. Like the dudes carrying the mobile bed. I know there's a technical word for it, but I don't know it. The gurney, is that it? They weren't going fast, and when you see, I mean, these guys, they spend day every day together. They're literally coworkers, and when you build bonds like that, I mean, you see the dude, and he looked lifeless, man. Like it was super scary. Like in the beginning, I was watching the game today too, and he was just like with his arms on his side, like he was like literally knocked out. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure like the just seeing, a guy that you like and you love, and just a friend, and I'm sure the panic just kind of went into overload, and especially for those guys that see him every day. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I think there's more to the story, because whenever they got him into the thing, and then when they were going to get him into the ambulance, he was already awake. I don't know how responsive he was. I don't know if he was fully like aware of what had happened, or whatever it may be. But yeah, it wasn't a good look for sure, because I mean,
Yeah,
they asked for the stretcher 5,000 times, and
right.
nobody showed up, and everybody like looked to be jogging like to the guy and to help him out. And it's like, bro, like this guy is potentially dying, like you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, we see
Yes.
these freak accidents, and around the world, that dudes, they get a head like a trauma, and they collapse, and it's unfortunate, but like they can pass away, and you don't know what to expect. You obviously, your head goes to the worst. So it's like, bro, like where is the rush? Like where is the come on, like let's help this guy out. And it sucked, because it seemed like the players were doing more than like actual, emergency people. But at the same time, like we don't know the story. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but at the same time,
Well,
it does
because
kind of make you mad.
we've obviously heard different stories regarding this situation, so we
Yeah,
don't know necessarily which one's true. So we can't sit here and speculate and then just pick one. But
yeah,
obviously, just seeing and one thing that I kept telling you guys, obviously the contact is made. He falls to the ground, and they never show a replay again. So we couldn't even really tell if he was moving. There wasn't any close ups or anything like that,
yeah.
too. So I
No,
mean, apart
yeah,
from him not moving from the very beginning, and just falling directly on the ground, you
yeah.
you don't know. Again,
You don't.
it's difficult to even touch on it,
Yeah,
just because it was a scary situation. Obviously, the amount that it took for him, and to me, it's like you've seen it before, that when it takes this such a long time to get a guy, you know, the help he needs, usually they abandon the game. And so for it to not even go that way,
yeah,
or like, hey, this is it. It seemed, again, it just seemed like it wasn't as critical as it looked to begin with.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And if it wasn't because the help didn't it took much longer than expected, I
yeah.
think it was one of those. But I mean, it looks like he's good to go in the sense of like health wise. It's not like he's in the hospital. He was back in training. He's alert. He's home. I'm sure they'll again keep the protocol going. I can't talk, man. It's
Article.
me, and I put it on you, and it just
Just a couple of ESL guys here
it's a
chatting away.
Yeah, for real. But so yeah, it's something that's gonna be taken care of for sure. But I'll continue
Yeah.
the highlights, Christian, and whatever you touch on. Not feel
Yep.
free, man.
Shout out to Nestor. Yes, Belgrano and Dynamo this weekend for sure. On the comments. And hello to
Yes,
Jeff.
yeah, Nestor and Jeff is in the house. And
Ooh.
Mr. Tovar just joined. What have I missed? We you missed a lot, man. We're almost done here. 25 minutes in. I'm kidding. But yeah, Vancouver, dude. Okay, so in the first half,
they were at it.
but they were at it. But if you really look at the stats, and I apologize for not making slides, but it really wasn't as like I think they only had 3 shots before the red card, and obviously we'll get to that. So I mean, Houston did their part, and also in the attack, they were still feisty. One guy that I know people are gonna pick on Ponce, and I understand because he hasn't scored. But one guy that drives me nuts more than Ponce sometimes is Bogish, because I feel like Matthew gets way more touches on the ball, and he really
Yes.
doesn't go anywhere.
He doesn't know what he wants to do with it.
No. And I mean, we know he can kick, we know he can dribble. Like in this, he
Like
did a
right
few
there.
times. He did, yeah. He That was a good ball.
That
To
was
Ponce, terrible touch in the 16th minute, and could have done more. He should have shot it or passed it on to McGlynn, who's behind
yeah.
him, screaming at him like "Boludo que haces,"
That was the perfect shot.
So
For,
this is the example right here. Obviously, Bogish is always puts himself in dangerous situations. Good on him to stay focused on the ball, and the goalkeeper just makes a really bad call. There's no reason for him to be out there,
yeah.
and I know Joey and Dustin will fight that could have not a straight red because there's a couple guys, but to me, it's like the decision's on the goalkeeper, right? I think
Yeah.
again it was. Whether it's not on the rule book or not, and I'll go back to this one here shortly, but whether it's not on the rule book or not, you still came
Yeah.
and it was an unnecessary, tackle. And he
Yeah.
did it in the first half as well, but he got away with it. But this one, dude, look how many you have so many defenders. Like
Yeah.
it was covered. You should have just stayed on your 6, and he
Yeah.
knows it. I mean, he's not going to complain about it. He understands that it's a red card. So but everybody else to say, no, that's not a red card. Dude, you're still the last man. It doesn't, to me, that's how I see it, Christian. And I know there's a lot of gray area, but I don't know what your thoughts are. I mean, it's
yeah. At the end of the day is the referee's decision.
Yeah, Kyle says goalie can't be doing that. I agree. Fuera, let's go. I like
it. And then also you have to like put in context like the tackle itself. Like the tackle wasn't like, even though he doesn't touch him, it was like quote unquote dangerous. He kind of went for the legs. It wouldn't hide legs. It could have been more dangerous than what it was. Obviously, Bogish sold that very, very well.
Yeah,
and I don't think he was expecting a red card, maybe, but expect a foul outside the box, maybe a yellow card or something like that. But yeah, I think you're right. The goalkeeper should have stayed. He should have waited. But I think he was already way too ahead of himself.
For sure.
So he had
he had already committed.
Yeah, exactly.
Committed. Yeah,
and like you said, there was 2 other guys, so I can see where the point where Dustin and Joey say that maybe that shouldn't have been a red card. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just
I mean,
yeah.
He didn't touch the ball, nothing. You take out the player, dude. It's a red. I mean, yeah, that could be. And then this one here, Bogish, man, just finds himself offside. And Ponce needed this one so bad. There's so many great pictures that our photographers took. Shout out Omar, shout out Aldo, shout out Ricky. Just the amount of like happiness that Ponce had just to realize that, bro,
broke his heart, bro.
It's offside. He needed it so much. And I know people, are tired of Ponce and him not scoring and him, which we won't get into this too much, but obviously the MLS player salaries are out. And your boy Ponce is paid the most for the team. And when he doesn't score any goals, when he doesn't get any assists, no matter how much, I mean, honestly, I think every game in the last, I don't know, since the Dynamo had this, stretch of really good positive outcomes and wins, he just plays better and better. Like his play with the ball, to hold possession, his runs, His passing has been very good. It just hasn't culminated in what a DP is expected to do. Unlike the other DP that we'll touch on as he scores
Yeah.
the late winner. But yeah, it's you feel bad for him because he needs it, and you can just see how much he needs it,
He
Christian.
wants it.
And when you're making 3 million a year and
Yeah.
you're the top paid player in the team,
Yeah.
and again, fans before they knew that, which I mean, granted, you already knew that
People
because
already, yeah.
I mean, he was the highest paid player last year.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Hector Herrera, who was making about 6 million once everything was kind of
Sheesh.
added. And then now he's making like 600K. So it's like there's layers to this, and but when it comes to Ponce, yeah, like Kyle says, Ponce is not as bad as people are making it. He's
Yeah.
not. It's just unfortunate that
That's I don't know if the word is dichotomy or like the oxymoron of Ponce, that on one side of the coin you have a guy that it fits the system, right? Like he's a guy that hustles, he's a guy that chases everybody, he's a guy that is in the right, we could say at the right spot, the right time, even though he hasn't scored. But he's a guy that he can be a hold up guy, and he can give you a lot of different things, right? As a player, referente, as a person that you can kind of look up and know that he's going to be where he's supposed to be type sheet, as a kid say. But then on the other side of the coin, you also have a guy that it gets paid the most. And in any other league in the world, if you have a guy that in 10, 12, 13 games that we're on, if not more, doesn't score a single goal, he is not playing soccer anymore, So it's that, but then also we have to throw into the mix that this is the MLS, or MLS. Major League
yes,
Soccer, it's its own world, it's its own body of rules and regulations of soccer. Like soccer is not the same in MLS as it is in the world. And that's the only thing that saves Ponce. Ponce in any other league in the world, he would be riding the bench super hard.
yeah,
And that's just the thing, and you can see the guy has passion. A lot of people question his
yes,
like his
yes. Thank you
grit,
for
his
touching on
passion,
that. Yeah.
and I don't see it. Me personally, I don't see it. I mean, I don't want to
No,
talk bad or good.
no,
Like I'm trying to be neutral,
yeah,
but you can see the passion on the guy. I mean, a dude that is chasing defenders a minute 90 when they're winning 1-0, it's not a guy that
yes,
doesn't care,
yeah,
and that's just what I want. I mean, I understand when people are tripping and complaining about Ponce and everything that he embodies of not scoring and getting paid, but also you have to recognize that the guy does hustle and puts in the work. So it's a thin line, and I think
right.
also you can hate them when we lose, when the team loses, and then you can love them when they win, because
And
you
and
can't be
it's
hating when the team wins.
yeah, exactly. And I think if the outcomes are still positive, like
Yeah,
yes, he's not scoring, he's not being the guy with the assist, but he's just doing everything else. And I know if you, and I know, fans may just watch the game and just catch what the game is and not necessarily look at every single player, and not that I do as well, but if you take time to really break down the plays there are being created in the attack, Ponce is usually in
yeah,
there, doing a lot of that hard work. But again, goals and assists, and
yeah,
his contract is up in next summer in 2027. So it's one of those that he's playing for a contract at the end of the day, unless the Dynamo win titles with
yeah.
him not scoring and not assisting. I mean, because he's doing everything else to help the people around him do so, it's
It's a
there's a
tricky
dilemma
situation.
to that. It's
Yeah,
if definitely, and I'm glad I don't have to do that. But I was gonna mention it, and I think it's something that even a while back Juan touched on the situation with Ferreira. And if we put Ponce and Ferreira, the work ethic is so much different, right? I mean,
100%.
but Ferreira would score goals no matter
Yeah,
what. He would find ways to score goals,
yeah,
and Ponce doesn't have that, right? And when
yeah.
you look at the two players, if you would tell me who would have the most goals, it would be Ponce every
You would
single
have
time,
thought,
just
yeah,
because Ferreira just looked slow,
Ponce is more athletic.
sluggish.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so yeah, it's a fine line. It's like, what is he doing to help the team? I think Ponce does everything to help the team. He has the
Yeah.
passion. He loves the city. Of course, he's gonna get with the fans because at this point, fans are screaming in his face that he's not good, that he's not scoring, which is all true. It's not that it's not that it isn't true, but as you mentioned, it's the fact that you're still winning games. It's the fact that he's
Yeah.
still hustling in the 90 something minute. He's the guy that is not going to give up. He's going to keep playing, and it's just a part of it. And so it's you can see both sides, man.
Yeah.
And here we want to see both sides. We understand that the fans they come to the game, they support their team, they're entitled to let their voice be heard if that's what they feel like. Now, how they reciprocate it, yeah, Victor, you're right. I mean, we've got to love the city if you're making 3 million. Hell, I love the city and I don't even make fraction of that. So imagine at 3 million,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
bleed
this might sound kind of funny, but my biggest beef right now is with Bogusz. Like, not even Ponce.
yes.
I mean, I just feel like Bogusz is the one that is more of a letdown than Ponce, and Ponce is in 0 assists, zero goals. And I maybe because we saw what Bogusz could be in, obviously in a better team. And I guess we were promised, maybe. I don't know if promise is the right word, but I feel like we were promised in a way. It'd be like, oh, we're gonna get a Bogusz, the LAFC Bogusz, like, the return of Bogusz. And it's been just like lackluster. Like there's nothing there. And he doesn't seem, all in that we were joking with Dustin before, but like, his wife is pregnant, and I'm sure, like, I mean, we're human beings, right? So I'm sure like maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, at this time you just start speculating everything and anything that is possible. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have to perform, and I feel like Bogusz has performed under Ponce. And it sounds weird because Ponce doesn't score or assist.
Well, because you brought in Bogusz and you brought Guillermo to kind of help Ponce, be the guy that could score 10, 20 goals or whatever. But Bogusz just hasn't been that at all. And it really this team currently is basically Guillermo getting a lot of those accolades. And I mean, he's posting crazy numbers. And Houston, get out there and vote for Guillermo, please, because it would be so crazy if this guy doesn't make the All-Star team. And currently he's like, the votes are so low on him. It's crazy. I mean, you see the ratings, you see everything that he does. I mean, he's up there. He's like top 3. He's MVP quality. And for people in Houston who aren't voting, because we know, like, it's a popularity contest after all. Like, he's not a sexy name that
Houston
people around the
name.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's gonna be voting for Messi. I know, and there's no Carlos Vela anymore, so Manny won't be putting vote for him. But but yeah, it's one of those that you have to do better when it comes to a Bogusz sake, because I feel that and it's noticeable. Granted, it wasn't this game, but sometimes they just get in their own way as well, Christian. You see that a lot. You see, like, and that's for all 3 of those guys in the attack. They just sometimes are just, I don't want to say that they can't play together. I do believe they can, but when you're talking about Mati Bogusz, is the fact that, again, he gets a ton of the ball. I mean, you see how many dribbles we already saw in the highlights, and obviously that's even with the red card that he gets taken down on. But a lot of it just goes nowhere. And when it goes to the other DP, Guillermo, that maybe people had a fun time like playing those highlights of him missing in front of goal and how this guy's terrible. And now all the same people that I kept seeing on social media, completely. Now they all want their jersey and like obrigado. Like, everybody's trying to talk Portuguese, like, come on, guys, let's and that's what I mean. Let it all play out. I always say that for sure. But Guillermo is in a whole different level. But it makes you think, right? If he does happen to get injured, I mean, that's you don't want it, but
It would,
then it's like,
huge
what's
blow.
gonna happen unless somebody else steps up? Then the attack is really gonna hinder because again, we saw it in this game in particular, right? With he finds a way to
Yeah,
continue to attack. You talk about Ponce giving you 90 something minutes. This is really
that's
great.
a good
Bond
save.
had a few saves, and that one was a very good one. Thomas Mueller was about to put that, and Bond gets it. And then here, dude, Guillermo had like three like this. I really thought this was going to be a goal against the, and he picked the wrong thing to do that. He should have taken one more touch on his left
Yeah,
and kicked it in. But
go
I
around the
think he
keep.
was just tired. I mean, you could see there's
Yeah,
a good picture of the guy still getting. I think it was actually this play. He runs all the way to the
to the board.
board and just like
Yeah,
rests his head on that.
yeah.
But you get to the 90 something minute here. Even Arthur's taking
Eesh.
shots. It was good to see. And when Guillermo 96 minute, man, it does what we've seen him do. And the
Man,
goalkeeper, honestly,
se la
does it
comió.
take a? It looks like it takes a slight deflection.
Yeah,
It's very
deflection.
slight, but
Yeah,
yeah, the goalie. I mean, yeah, you. It was he should have stopped that.
yeah,
But you know what? You take those because those at the end of the day they don't come that often. And if you're able to
yeah,
get to, I mean, I think you never really play for a draw, but you're going against the best team. You like draw. It's important, and then we talked about it when the LAFC game, right? Like you don't want to
yep,
go to LAFC and get thumped. Granted, that happened with RSL that
yeah,
got you, but there's just levels to this, and the season is long, but just the amount of games that they're winning at home,
yeah.
I think it's important. And we spoke about the World Cup is coming, Christian. This is your final match at home before the stoppage for the World
Hmm.
Cup. And we talked about there's two games back to back, but the Austin game needs to be a sellout. And in games like this, when as I we named this episode dead taxes and late Dynamo drama, that's a thing. We're always, if you're in our chat, man, you will always see the tengo miedo meme,
Yeah,
which did not happen because Dynamo was actually pushing for that goal,
yeah.
and it happened. But yeah, it always seems that way, Christian. It's either like
Yeah.
take it to the ropes, and it's either do or die, Christian, here.
No, yeah. I mean, and that kind of shows the grit and the hustle. I mean, I think it lacked in some games, but in this one, you see it against a really good team. Obviously, they were playing with 10, but I think at the end of the day, you did see that towards the end, they kind of, had Vancouver cornered. Um, and yeah, I mean, they do pass the ball a lot. It's something that they train. I mean, if you go to training, the first training of the year that I went to, I mean, that was all they did, just kind of pass the ball around all around the box. Nobody took shots. And that's just kind of what they do. That's why I was saying in the RSL game how important it was to have somebody like Jack McGlynn, because Jack McGlynn will let it rip. And taking him out in that RSL game, it just kind of changed everything, because now you just take out that that factor of shots from outside the box. I don't even, did Jack McGinn play this game? Honestly, I watched the game, but I don't even remember.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that he played most of the game, but that's also the thing about Jack. Sometimes he just doesn't appear, and that's one of the
Yes.
criticisms that I had for him. Like sometimes he's all over, team of the week, men of the match, 2 goals, 2 assists, like all these crazy stats, and then on the next one he's just nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has some really good passes. I'm sure his numbers look
He
good. I
did.
mean,
He created. He had 84 touch.
he
He had
created the most
84
chances
touches.
this year, 3.
Yeah.
So, but obviously on
Well,
the
and to add,
yeah,
the Chasha thing kind of threw everything off, because
it did.
once that happened, like that midfield definitely changed, and obviously you were, Agustin Busat comes in, and it shifts the game plan.
I
Mhm.
No, I just want to take a second and take a quick 2 minutes or a minute and a half and just recognize the season that Agustin Resch is having. I see the guys, talking in the chat about, how much players are getting paid and, $1 million riding the bench.
I can't believe they think
I
Cuti Romero is better than him, bro. What's wrong with Argentina? Tell me.
and and yes, I mean it's understandable. You know, you paying a guy $1 million and he just is not having a good season, and all he does is play the last 15 minutes or play US Open Cup games, or the weekday games where everybody has to rest. But that's just the nature of the sport in a way, right? Like sometimes you have bad spells, sometimes you have good spells. In this case, Rash is having the freaking time of his life right now because he's all time high due to having an incredible game after incredible game after incredible game, and he's only making 88,000 a year. So obviously, I mean, it was kind of one of those Dorsey situations when Dorsey was also getting paid the minimum, and you're like, man, this Dorsey kid is good. Obviously, I don't think Resh is going to be
Well,
like
but
a
we
national
talked
team
about
caliber,
it.
but
Even no, for sure, yeah.
I mean, hey, a good MLS starter. I mean, what you can build a career around there.
Uh,
Um,
yeah. What I was gonna say is the fact that it's funny because how what is it? How the tables have turned, right? In the sense
yeah,
of we were talking about the same situation for and I apologize to Femi. His ears might be ringing every week that we touch on him, but it's the
pobre.
same thing in the sense of like
Yeah,
you have nothing to lose, right? This is a guy that comes in, takes care of he gets the opportunity because of injuries, right? I mean, Lucas Coulter too. We didn't talk about him, but he's making close to 1.5 million, and obviously he's injured and he won't be back till well at this point. Who knows,
after the
right?
World Cup.
Because I
Yeah,
mean, is he going to take over Resh? I mean, I'm sure they'll give him his opportunity once in 2 months the league is going to be paused. But yeah,
he's
it,
gonna
it
be
it
in.
makes you think because it's just the opportunity you should take, and some people do it and some people are struggling. And while maybe Femi got a couple like men of the match opportunities, we haven't seen that from Resh. And I mean, Resh is just
Just solid, bro.
solid. I mean, he
Yeah,
he doesn't play around with your stereo typical center back that is just like clear it, win the header, just clear the ball, like no BS style, right? It's just kind of
defend
we're
101.
not exactly. And he's good with his feet. That's not saying that he's not. He can
No,
pass the ball, but he wants the clean sheet and he's going to do
yes,
whatever it takes to get it. And if it was and it helps him that he's 6 inches taller than most center backs back there.
for
So
sure.
um we
And also,
yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but also he feeds off the energy from Antonio Carlos, who I also think he's a great addition to his team. I mean, we can go line by line, but like the defensive line is going to be interesting to see. Like you said, when Lucas Halter comes in, because Lucas is probably the best defender, right? That the Dynamo have. And then what do you do
Yes.
with Antonio Carlos? I mean, Shevchenko,
Well, yeah,
he's
all those
probably on his way
guys.
out.
Uh, let me
It's
let
just
me plug this in,
yeah,
and you can keep regarding the contract information. There is
oh yeah,
an article on Bayou City Soccer.net that you can see, and everything's there. It kind of
it's a
clarifies.
link. Yeah,
But also, I know I forgot to see if well, I have it here, I think. But anyways, if you go to the Bayou City Soccer.net, if you didn't know this, you can go into the rosters. Dustin has done a really good job of putting
yes,
the Dynamo and the
the
Dash
goat.
rosters up there. But I mean, he put like when their contract is over, how much money they make, option years. I mean, everything you want to know um about the roster and basically play GM. Feel free, have fun. I find it hilarious sometimes because we try to put as much information out there and we still get the same questions at times, and it's okay. We still drive you to the website, but it just keeps getting better. There's so much information out there, and if you're a MLS sicko and a Dynamo fanatic like we tend to see,
Mhm.
and we love to see you guys go in there and become a stat nerd and MLS rules and salary wise expert.
Spreadsheet diva. I
But
like
yeah,
that.
no, to your point, obviously there's gonna be. It's funny because again, we'll go ahead and 50 minutes in, we'll go ahead and talk about the next game, which is tomorrow. I don't know if we'll
Tomorrow.
have a watch along, guys. If it is, it's gonna be very last minute. But they'll be playing in St. Louis, for the U.S. Open Cup. This is a very important game. I don't know if you guys follow other, social medias, but if you follow US Open Cup, they tied together a hype video from St. Louis, and St. Louis is calling this the most important game ever that they've ever played in. So I mean, the hype is
Really?
real. I'm sure it's gonna be a full stadium. Christian and I have been there. It's a beautiful stadium. They have a hype atmosphere. Um, it's a very intimidating place to be at. And so, everything's on the line, and you hope that the Dynamo that we've seen, I mean, if we get first half RSL, you're in good hands. You get second half RSL, it's gonna be crazy. Mr. Stover says Ponce scores 2 goals. I saw him, and I actually, give me a second. I started over here, but I hear Ponce scores Open Cup. Dude, he's only scored against USL Championship teams, so I don't know. That's we'll put an asterisk on that. If he
We'll see.
scores, Mr. Tovar, we'll get you something cool. Maybe, I don't know if you like. Let me see. I don't know if you like this. I don't know if you have this bobblehead, but if you get it right, if Ponce scores, I'll get you one of these because I have a thing of one or two.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments if you're interested in this and you get it right. The Ponce scores tomorrow. This one is
Leave your
yours.
Ponce predictions.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's up to you. Give your Ponce predictions. You're right. I don't know. Are you guys interested in stuff like this? Because we have some giveaways, and it's been a minute just because it's been so busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're interested in a couple giveaways, actually, we have a really good giveaway coming up soon, Christian, which we need to put together. But it involves video games. I'll just leave it at that. So,
Ooh.
all right, Mr. Stover, like virtual handshake here. All right, cool. Bet he's in. All right, if Ponce scores, one of those is yours, brother.
Twice.
And if we, yeah,
and
twice. No, we'll give him if he scores. If they score, just
he's being nice.
I'm being nice. I'm being nice. He hasn't scored against MLS teams yet, so.
But I mean, he scored in US Open Cup.
Yes.
And this is a US Open Cup game.
Yes.
And St. Louis is not doing so hot. I mean, they're second to last in the Western Conference.
That's true. So,
but that never means, it's the MLS. The MLS is weird like that.
All right. There you go. There you go, Emilio. There you go. Just submitted my All-Star vote. There you go. Yeah, I think we posted ours, which obviously Dustin's in charge of sending that, and we kind of like, bro, you can't forget Guillermo. I don't even think he had a Dynamo player at first because he didn't realize. And it really is weird. If you guys haven't done it before, or the voting, some players that you think are attackers or midfielders and so forth. This is really complicated, to be honest, and it's really made for just star players to kind of make it. So if people could, they would put Messi in every single category, but yeah, that's usually like a familiar. I mean, between him and Sonny and like Mueller, like they would have every single EP attacker. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get you hooked up, Emilio. I know Emilio. You know what? Emilio, I remember Emilio. He went, Christian. Emilio and his family went when we went to We Got Soccer, if I'm not mistaken, and he won one of the jerseys, and he could put it on here, but I think he won one of either Dorsey or Bond's jersey for his kids. So yeah, of course.
Nice.
I'm a big giveaway person too, and I usually just keep bobbleheads. So I try just to do Dynamo nowadays because it's too much, man. I ain't got time, I ain't got money, I ain't got energy. My back hurts. Like there's just so many things happening, Christian, as we get older, brother. Yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, my back hurts, man. And I mean, I told you I actually have been doing like manual labor and fixing the yard. So there's a reason why it hurts. It's not just because I woke up and it hurt. But she was like, it's because you're getting old. And I'm like, well, thank you for reminding me.
So much love.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I do have an Elise, but that one, I have an Elise. I don't think I have one for me, but I will see if I have one. I usually have one. I have others.
You see what we got.
But anyways, and I don't have all. I am missing a couple actually from last season. I don't have these. So if anybody has one and wants to hook up with a Pat Onstad one, it'd be welcome in my collection. But anyways, Christian, going into this match, you mentioned St. Louis is not doing all that hot when it comes to MLS MLS play. They're pretty low on the table. Obviously, this is a very important game. They've had some off field emotional stories behind it. I know their
Emotional damage.
captain Loden, well, yeah, his wife tragically passed away from like a brain cancer, brain tumor, and
Sucks.
so that's definitely been heavy on the team and on that fan base. So of course, lifting a trophy this year would be really important for them. And I mean, we've seen it before here as well. When kind of maybe the Astros with after Hurricane Harvey winning a title and stuff like that. Things that affect the city and it's heavy. I mean, we know it's a booster. Whether they
Yeah.
cheated or not, that's doesn't really matter, Christian, right?
No,
Whether they're
who's
banging,
counting?
whether they're banging trash cans or not, who cares?
It's
I
part of
mean,
the game.
it's part of it. But yeah, it's one of those that this matchup, man, it intrigues me. We've talked about this. Is elimination matches are the best. This game would go to extra time. It would go to penalties if it needs it. And so the amount of short games and our short breaks between games is crazy. I know that Ben spoke this morning about, playing Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday. That combination of like, I mean, yeah, it's really weird because usually you play Saturday, Wednesday. That's a norm, right? Unless maybe when you do international play, sometimes you get like a Tuesday, Wednesday game and so forth. But it's usually pretty consistent. Like you play Saturday, play Tuesday, you play Saturday, play Tuesday, and playing like the way that they've been playing, it's a freaking mess. And of course, it won't be the only game. But just I think it's not necessarily something we have to harp on as much because we know Houston loves playing in that tournament. They have 2 U.S. Open Cups, 2018 and 2023. We know Ben Olsen loves that competition. He's won it as a player and as a coach. So it's you expect their best lineup out there,
Hopefully.
of course. But again, being such a short, span from playing on Saturday to Tuesday, and it was against the best team in MLS. Legs are gonna be sore for sure. So there will be rotation. But here's my thing, Christian. Here's my question to you more than anything. More than we can sit here and who I expect for them to play one of their best lineups. I do feel that there's probably gonna be a couple changes just because of maybe obviously like Shasha is not gonna play. It'd be dumb to play him, but the biggest question is when it comes to the goalkeeping, because we know that Ben loves playing his second goalie as a U.S. Open Cup goalie, and Jimmy Maurer, as of now, he's injured still, right? And so, is he gonna go with Bond or is he gonna go with Blake? And that I think that's to me that's interesting because I feel Blake deserves it. I mean, he's a guy that played well when he was asked to play well, last year with all the injuries, and eventually he fell down the depth chart because they brought in Bondi, because Jimmy Maurer was obviously still under contract, and he was brought in to be the second team, even though he got injured as well. And so Blake is just kind of a no man's land, third goalkeeper choice, doesn't play because Pedro Cruz is doing so good with Dynamo 2 and they still remain undefeated. So when it comes to the goalkeeping, what are you thinking there, man? You go with Bondi, you go with Blake, or you pull something crazy and bring in Pedro Cruz to step in? What are we doing here, Christian? Because I think that's gonna be the biggest debate just because of how things tend to work with Ben Olsen back there.
It's the stakes are high, so it's just kind of like what do you? That's the thing. Like if you play Blake and you lose because of something Blake did, then what is that like? How heavy is that going to be on him? How heavy is that going to be a decision of like on Ben? There's a lot of factors. I mean, it's a quarterfinal. Yeah, quarterfinal, semifinal, final. There's 3 games to a potential spot to the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
You're so close to that. There's only 2 games till the end of the break, so it's not like, you know, you could. I mean, if anything, I would play Bond this game and give Blake the next game
I
against
could
Los
see that.
Angeles.
Yeah.
It's a league game where, I mean, every league game counts, but you can give
But
yourself a little
it's
bit
not
of
do or
leeway.
die. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Away
you have another
game.
day to live. Like if you lose in LA, you're like, you know what? We'll dust ourselves and come back after the
Yeah.
break and kill everybody.
Yeah.
But this one, you lose, you lose. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no coming back from this one. So if it was me, I would go starting 11, like best 11 I have, and then you rest them against LA. And
Yes.
that would be my mentality going in, because you win in St. Louis and you're one step away from literally getting another Conca Champions
Yeah,
spot.
I think you're absolutely right, because I mean the expectation again with St. Louis hyping this game, and people are gonna show up. So people are definitely gonna show up to this game. I expect it to be, if not a full sellout, I expect it to be pretty close. Yes, it's a Tuesday night game, but as you mentioned, if it's the Dynamo trying to get an international play, St.
Yeah.
Louis, when you're so bad, and we saw this too. Remember with the Galaxy when they were playing in Leagues Cup, and they were, you know, bottom of the MLS table, not just the Western Conference, but they were doing so bad, so they gambled on winning a spot via
Yeah.
Leagues Cup. So um I think you have to, if you're St. Louis, you're gonna put your best lineup that you can, and you hope that you can beat a Dynamo. And if the expectation is like, hey, I'm gonna play a guy that hasn't played. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the last time that Blake played. I think it was like last May, maybe,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
before Bond got here. And
Basically.
so if you put Bond, I mean, sorry, if you put Blake, as you mentioned, and what could be a sold out crowd, the intensity is going to be high. The importance of this match, it's very high. So what is it really it's gonna be the issue? You go out with Blake and he makes a couple errors and you're out of the thing, or you go with Bondi and I mean you may still lose. Obviously, I mean this
Yeah,
is
but
not a given, but you felt like, hey, I put my best team out there, and Bond has been
exactly.
doing good. I mean
Yeah.
he's had some big saves, so you may be right. Honestly, that I think that could be the best thing that Ben does, and win or lose, play your best lineup and then rest the guys against Galaxy if you think that's
Yeah.
what needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's from Tuesday to Saturday is a long time, but I mean, it is a travel time. Like the comment here,
Oh yes, let me
saying,
see.
going all out. I mean, that was remember when we talked about before these games started, I said the same thing, go all out. I mean, there's only 5 games, go all out with everything you got, and rest them afterwards, because you'll have a month and a half to rest. That was my idea, but obviously they're human
No,
beings,
but
they're
but yeah,
machines.
exactly. It's
So
not a video game. These guys aren't
yeah,
gonna be completely ready. And when you went away, and out of those two matches, you told me we're gonna beat LA at their home stadium. It's a gamble for them to get
yeah,
3 out of 6 points. You still take that. I mean, it's difficult to go on the road. So
yeah,
why would it be if you put your best lineups and you return with 0 points?
yeah,
That's also a thing that you have to think about. And so you got 3 out of 6 points. You come home, you get a big win. So you're putting yourself in a decent position on the table. I know they have 21 points if I'm not mistaken, currently, and so you're creating a little bit of cushion. Yeah, you're currently
yeah,
in sixth place. So you go to LA, you get another 3 points, you're going into top five, possibly.
yeah,
So I mean, you put yourself in a good spot that you can come back and feel good about where you are in the season. And it would be a cherry on top if you're still fighting in the US Open Cup, Christian.
yeah. 100%. And yeah, just come back and with some respect too. And we forget, but there's a window, during the summer. So
Yes.
there's a window there, and Pat has been saying since the beginning of time that there is going to be some guys coming in. So it's just, as we watch the World Cup, we're gonna have to keep our eyes out for what Pat Onstad and Asher Mendelson are going to be doing, and what players they're going to bring. I mean, that would be a fun conversation to like speculate
Yes.
next week or something, to like think about where does the Dynamo need help, or potentially, or where's the depth lacking, or where would you bring another player, stuff like that, right?
Hey, my
But yeah,
sources say
Mhm.
that Cristiano Ronaldo's coming to Houston. That's
This
what my
guy.
sources say.
What?
AI clip it. Don't say why, but there you go. But no. But
Well,
it's
he
true.
is coming to Houston. That same, I got it from a different source,
Yes,
but
different source. He's
it's
coming to
pretty
Houston.
legit. Pretty legit.
It's
So
legit, dude.
it's
He's
legit.
coming to Houston.
He'll be here this
So
summer.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be crazy for sure. And so, but I mean, obviously, you're gonna. I'm sure, as Pat, you mentioned him. He's talked about like, hey, there's gonna be people in our facilities. Congo is gonna be in the Dynamo facility, so I don't know how much people will be hyped, but I mean,
Yeah.
I have some decent players in there for sure. But I mean, what if you do land a player from Congo that can make a difference? I mean, you don't know at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
people didn't know Guillermo. They just saw highlights of him, hitting the crossbar and missing in front of goal. So, you can get crazy. You can start dreaming. And man, I told, yeah, Lewandowski to Houston. I think that's a crazy one. Because that dude is like 40 years old and he's gonna go to Saudi and get paid, man. I
He's gonna
mean,
do
this
TikToks.
dude, do something. But
Yeah.
so
Also,
yeah,
no, let,
no,
let
no.
me just throw a little nugget there that during the World Cup, we're going to be doing some watch alongs in different places around the city. So stay tuned for that. So you can come watch it with us. If you don't want to go to the Fan Fest, or if you don't want to go to the Shell Energy Stadium, if you want to come hang out with us, we're going to be doing there's going to be watch alongs everywhere in the world.
We're gonna go to Christian's
But,
house. We'll
but
put it
yeah,
out.
I
His
can come
address is
through.
123 Springfield Drive
Pull up.
in Katy, Texas. Zip code
Farther out.
77777. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
You're close.
People are gonna look it up and be like, "Oh,
Right?
we're there, bro."
Imagine they show up.
No, I
But
think going into this matchups, I feel confident. I mean, elimination tournaments are that it's a gamble no matter what. I mean, and I hope that, like we saw, I'm sure it's gonna be a dramatic game. That's what I would love to see. Even if the Dynamo end up losing, as a fan, I'll rather see them go out in a dramatic way. I wouldn't want to see them get blown out, right? I wouldn't want to see them lose 5-0 and be like, dang, okay, this sucked. As a fan. So even if it goes to the wire like it did against Vancouver, and obviously the Dynamo get a win, you take it, you move on, and you use that. But I feel confident enough, and I know that Jay Hurtado hates him when we're a little pessimistic. But right now, I'm feeling I feel positive when I look at this team. I see them do a lot of good things. Again, if you're putting a better lineup than you did, possibly the changes that you did. But even then, you take into account like what we saw against RSL. And I mean, you still brought in Bogish and you brought in Guillermo, and maybe Ponce didn't get to play, so maybe Ponce is the key of everything. I mean, we're just speculating here and throwing things out the wall, but my point is that, I mean, you're still bringing in players in, right? They're making a difference, and it just didn't pan out. And so it's you take it as you can, man. You take it as you can. But
100%.
let's say the Dynamo get a win tomorrow. The Bayou Banter, the Discord is going to be popping. We'll see if we get watch along here. We don't know. We don't want to commit to it. It is a Tuesday. People tend to be busy. But if one of the young guys that is not in college right now want to do it, hint.
No pressure.
Juan Pereira, if you're listening, yeah, you guys may be able to join him and suffer. I hate doing watch alongs because I do suffer. I do suffer. So like in that's
I
in
love it.
general.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy watching it on
Yeah.
TV or what. Like I'm very focused. Then we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I can sit there and like just watch a game, but I'm like looking at everything. So I see positive. Yeah, throw Mr. Tovar did already, but throw in your
Predictions.
predictions for this US Open Cup match. Mr. Stover said 3-1. He said Ponce was going to score a brace. If Ponce scores, he gets no matter if they lose or win. Ponce scores, you'll be getting a bubblehead. Christian,
Somebody was asking about the
oops.
semifinal. If I'm not mistaken, if Colorado wins, and if Colorado wins and Dynamo win, I think the Dynamo go to Colorado.
Yeah,
And
the
if
Dynamo fell very down the talent
they're
pool when
third,
it comes to
and if San Jose wins and Houston wins, they play in Houston. So it just kind of depends. Well, obviously, it depends who wins on the other side. So Colorado wins, it would be away at Colorado. If San Jose
Let's
wins,
put
it
it
would be
this
at home.
way. Let's get Houston needs to win first, and then we'll
Yeah,
figure that out.
exact. The
And
other
then
one
if
don't matter.
yeah, the other one don't matter, right? But and then if they happen to make it to the final, it doesn't matter who makes it on the west side. It'll be on whoever's on the east that won. So,
Yeah.
um, let's just say get your Southwest tickets ready. As soon as you find out and there is a final with Houston on it, just go ahead and book it. Just
We
go
need to
ahead and
go
book
to that
it.
one.
I know
We
we
missed it.
wimped
We missed the
out.
Miami one.
We wimped out, man. We should
We
have.
we thought it was gonna be a blow. I mean, I don't know if a blowout, but we were like, it's a final against Miami and Messi, and you're like, can the Dynamo have enough? And they did. They had a Dorsey. So,
Yeah, yeah. But
but
I
I mean,
mean,
we got together and we watched it together. So at
we
least that
did. It
was
was fun.
it was a
Dustin,
fun
you,
time.
we enjoyed it. We
Yeah.
enjoyed it. But all right, Christian, if you want to tell the people how they can connect with us, man,
Yes.
and we'll call it a night unless you have
And
something positive to
no,
say.
yeah, two things. Just a quick one. Dynamo those won again. This time
Yes,
in
thank
PKs.
you.
But I mean, the streak continues, man. It's still undefeated.
And that's
Still
what we
killing
mentioned,
it.
Pedro Cruz, because Pedro Cruz saved a couple penalties, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken, in that shootout.
So there's that. There's a lot of talent there. They signed Mohammed Samir,
Mhm.
if I think that's his name, to a
Samir
MLS
Mohammed, yeah.
to a contract, MLS Next Pro contract. So I mean, that's something there. Obviously in the near future, hopefully. He's only 17 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, the pipeline is getting bigger, and hopefully those guys end up playing in the first team. So we'll see. To the play the kids got people out there, and to the
Yes.
pipeline people out there, and to play the academy people out there. It's getting there, so hopefully that comes sooner than later. So shout out to Jeremy Hardo and the whole
Yeah,
staff over
and
there. They're doing a great job.
and when it comes to what's his name, Gilberto Silva,
Oh yes,
Gilberto Rivera. Obviously, he's also getting some minutes playing with Phoenix. So I mean, these
Mhm.
kids, they're growing. They're growing quickly through the system. So it's important to see. And I was just trying to see their last game. He played. Yeah, he started. So he's already starting. I know the first game, as soon as he got there, he came off the bench and helped the team get a draw against San Antonio. And then now he started and played every single minute in what ended up being
Yeah.
a victory for Rising. And then I was gonna check real fast because I don't know if it's on here. I'm assuming yes. But your favorite team, Corpus Christi,
Hey,
Christian, I think they played against.
the charts.
Let me see. Did their season start?
Yeah, it just started
It just
not too
started.
long ago. Yeah.
You sure about this? Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he
I'm pretty
did.
sure. Yeah.
So their first game was against Tulsa, and they actually lost 1-0. But Logan Irv, who's another loanee,
Another
started the game as
another
well.
goalkeeper.
So
Yeah.
these guys are getting minutes. Obviously, minutes that are important as they continue to grow, and I think it's very, it's impactful that they continue to get minutes. Anybody from BCS heading down to LA, doubt it, man. I
Probably
think
not, bro.
Have you ever been to LA, Christian?
Never.
Never. Me neither. I've never
No.
been to LA.
Someday.
I've only been to the best part of
California.
The best place
San
in
Diego.
California. I've only been to Oakland. That's all we're at.
Dang.
No, I flew into Oakland, but I've been to San Francisco. That's the only city in California that I've been at. And yeah, Oakland, I've passed through there a couple times actually.
He's like
I
really
have
fast.
I? Yeah. I take that back. I think I've been to LA airport actually, not thinking about it too. But
LAX.
yeah, but that's it. I don't know. You know, Jay, I'm gonna do my best to go. I need to. So
Someday.
I need to plan it, and maybe you can take me some good tacos or something or
Isn't
whatever
the Olympics in 2028 right
in LA. I
in
have no
LA?
clue.
I think so. I don't know. They're coming up, but maybe we'll go for then. We'll see. But yeah, something positive before we get into the final thing. I was listening to an interview with Unai Emery from he's the coach of Aston Villa. Obviously, you guys know I support Aston Villa, but he was doing a really good interview, and they asked him about the confidence. How do you keep the confidence in the team, and how do you build that? And he said something really encouraging and positive and good. And he was saying that when it comes to encouragement and when it comes to what was the word that I said? Confidence. It's something that you have to you basically have to like feed it yourself. So it's not something that is given to you. It's not something that you can like find. It's not something that it just pops up. It's something that you have to like create yourself and feed it and give it fire and make sure that you are the one giving yourself confidence. And yeah, you can get confidence from the exterior, but the main source of your confidence should be from the inside. So just to exhort everybody, to make sure you have that confidence in yourself. I know sometimes we go through rough patches in life, or maybe we don't think we're capable enough to do certain things, but just know that you were made for a reason, and you were made with confidence for a reason. You have special talents and things that make you who you are as a person, and you are unique in your own way. So just make sure you feed that confidence and make sure you cultivate it. That's the word that I was looking for. Make sure you cultivate. You have to work it. You have to work it like you would a garden or something like that. It's gonna require work, but at the end of the day, the confidence is gonna take you a long way. I mean, people always talk about like in business and stuff like that. The people that make it the farthest is the people that usually have that confidence to them, or people
Be
gravitate to.
persistent.
So, yeah, so keep that, man. Just be confident in yourself, and always remember that you were made for a purpose as well. And yes, hopefully, I'm gonna be at Baker Hugo Connors in Midtown on Wednesday to watch the game. So if anybody wants to stop by, I'll be over there with the Villa guys.
There you go. But Christian, once again, a really good show. Love having you here. Love
Same.
talking
Everybody.
Houston Dynamo. Thank you everybody that joined us. Very active Bayou banter today. Shout out to Emilio, Jay Hurtado, Rushan, Mr. Tovar, MDCA. Everybody that's commented. I'm just kind of going down the list the names that
Victor.
I see. I know there was Victor. Yeah, Victor.
Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff Strong. But yeah, no, what you said, and one thing that I'll add to your motivation or I don't want to call it motivational. Yeah. No, I would just say to just kind of, I think it goes together, but don't be afraid to ask. The worst thing people can say is no. And you know what? They bat it down. You go do something else and you ask, and if they no, you bat it down. But don't give up. That's a wise words that my mom gave me when I was a kid, and it took me like 20 years to figure it out. So that's free advice for you young guys. If you guys are younger than 20, take that to heart, man. Don't, if you think of something, as Christian said, don't give up. Put your heart into it, drive towards your goal, but don't be afraid. There's people that are gonna say that whatever you're thinking of is dumb or not good enough or whatever. Don't let them burst your bubble. Go ask. And people would tell you, yes. I mean, I remember even when I joined Bayou City Soccer, or back then Dynamo Theory, and I was like, can we talk to Dynamo players? I never see this. And they're like, yes. Like, yeah. And I was like, oh, they didn't say no. So and the 5 years after that, we're still here kicking, trying to get as much content as we can. And we make it our mission to build some motivation as well, man.
Yes.
Kind of good vibes all the time. But Christian, once again, closing it out. We'll catch you on tomorrow, possibly on a watch along. Keep an eye out for that. If you see it pop up on your social media, join it. Maybe it's not Christian, maybe it's not me,
Maybe.
possibly JP. And if not, we'll see you Monday, and hopefully we'll be very happy to say, hey, this is a positive streak happening. And if we
Ponce
don't
scored.
yeah, Ponce scored. Yeah, Mr. Tovar, I need you to scream it at the top of your lungs, man, if Ponce scored, and we'll come back and they won too. But all right, my guys, we'll see you. We'll catch you on the Flip to Flip. Take care. Peace.
Houston!